In the year 2000, two men flew to Dallas with a proposal. They wanted to sell their struggling startup to Blockbuster for $50 million. Their company was losing money. It had 300,000 subscribers. It was delivering DVDs by mail, which most people thought was ridiculous. Blockbuster had 9,000 stores, 60 million customers, $6 billion in annual revenue. The CEO listened to the pitch, then fought to suppress laughter. The meeting ended shortly after. Those two men were Reed Hastings and Marc Randolph. Their startup was Netflix. Today, Netflix is worth over $280 billion. Blockbuster has one store left. This is how it happened. Blockbuster was born in Dallas, Texas on October 19, 1985. David Cook was a software entrepreneur who had made his money building data systems for the oil and gas industry. When oil prices collapsed in the early 1980s, he needed something new. He studied the video rental market, fragmented, mostly mom-and-pop stores with limited selection and in-house reel system, and saw an opportunity. His first store opened with over 800 VHS tapes and a computerized inventory system that no other rental store had. You could find any title instantly. No handwritten cards, no guessing what was in stock. It was an instant hit. Within a year, Cook had 3 more locations. Then Wayne Huizenga walked in. Wayne Huizenga had built Waste Management into a $3 billion company from scratch. He knew how to scale. Then he bought a controlling stake in Blockbuster from Cook for $18.5 million and immediately hit the accelerator. Under Huizenga, Blockbuster was opening a new store roughly every 24 hours. He applied the same disciplined franchise playbook that had built his waste empire: standardized stores, centralized purchasing, consistent branding, strict family-friendly policy with no adult content. By 1992, Blockbuster had over 2,800 stores. By 1994, Huizenga sold Blockbuster to Viacom for $8.4 billion. He walked away extraordinarily wealthy. And Blockbuster's problems began almost immediately. Viacom had bought Blockbuster for its cash flow. And the single biggest driver of that cash flow wasn't rentals. It was late fees. By the late 1990s, Blockbuster was collecting an estimated $800 million per year in late fees alone. Nearly 16% of total revenue came from charging customers who returned their tapes a day or two late. It was a reliable, recurring income stream that required no new investment and no innovation. It was also the thing customers hated most about Blockbuster. Every survey, every focus group, every piece of customer feedback pointed to the same answer. Late fees were the #1 reason people resented Blockbuster. They felt like a punishment for being a loyal customer. But the fees were too profitable to eliminate, so they stayed. And a company built on giving people what they wanted had quietly turned into a company that charged people for wanting it too long. Reed Hastings had returned a copy of Apollo 13 6 weeks late in 1997. The late fee was $40. Sitting in his car outside the store, furious, he started thinking there had to be a better way. He was right. In the year 2000, Hastings and his co-founder Marc Randolph flew to Dallas to meet with Blockbuster CEO John Antioco. The pitch was clean and logical. Netflix would run Blockbuster's online presence. Blockbuster would promote Netflix in their stores. Together, they would own both physical and digital rental, the complete home entertainment market, present and future. The price, $50 million. Randolph later described the room going silent after the pitch. Their words were, "We'll consider it," but we could tell they were fighting to suppress laughter. After that, the meeting went downhill fast. Antioco's position was defensible on paper. He viewed Netflix as a niche business and believed the dot-com hysteria was completely overblown. Netflix was unprofitable. Its subscribers were a tiny fraction of Blockbuster's customer base. And $50 million felt like real money for a company that mailed DVDs to people willing to wait days for a movie. What Antioco missed was what Netflix was actually building. Not a mail service, a customer database, Algorithmic taste profiles, digital delivery infrastructure. What? The entire architecture of what entertainment would become Blockbuster saw a DVD by mail company. Netflix was building the future of media. They were not the same thing. After the Dallas meeting, Blockbuster did nothing for 4 years. It wasn't until 2004 that Blockbuster launched a competing by mail service. By then, Netflix had nearly 3 million customers. Blockbuster was starting from scratch against a competitor with a 4-year head start, a refined recommendation algorithm, and a brand built entirely around customer convenience. Antioco finally did the thing that should have been done years earlier. He eliminated late fees. Subscriptions increased, but the $300 million the company had been collecting annually from late fees disappeared from the balance sheet overnight. The board panicked, and that's when Carl Icahn arrived. Carl Icahn was a billionaire activist investor who bought a large stake in Blockbuster in 2004 and immediately began pushing for change. His view was simple. Antioco's online strategy was gambling with shareholder money. The problem was that Antioco's strategy was actually working. Blockbuster Online was growing. The no-late fee policy was bringing customers back. For the first time in years, there was a credible plan to compete with Netflix. Icahn forced Antioco out and brought in a new CEO, Jim Keyes, a former convenience store executive, who promptly dropped the DVD by mail program entirely. Keyes believed Blockbuster's future was in physical stores. He stocked shelves with electronics. He focused on the retail experience. He looked at Netflix's 7 million subscribers and said publicly that he didn't see Netflix as a threat. In 2007, Netflix launched streaming, the ability to watch any movie instantly on any device with no disc, no late fee, and no trip to a parking lot. Blockbuster had no answer. It had canceled the one program that might have given it one. The numbers tell the story simply. Blockbuster filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy on September 23, 2010, carrying $900 million in debt and facing competition from Netflix, Redbox, and on-demand video services. The company that had 9,000 stores and 60 million customers a decade earlier was delisted from the New York Stock Exchange because its stock was trading at less than $1 per share. In April 2011, Dish Network bought Blockbuster's remaining assets for $320 million. The company that had turned down Netflix for $50 million was sold for $320 million total. Every store, every asset, every piece of the brand. Netflix's market cap that same year was over $10 billion. Today, it is over $280 billion, the most expensive laugh in business history. There is one Blockbuster left in the world. It is in Bend, Oregon, managed by Sandy Harding, who has run it since 2000. It has roughly 300,000 titles in inventory. It hosts slumber parties, movie nights, and nostalgia events. People travel from across the country to visit it, not to rent a movie, but to stand inside a piece of American memory. Netflix released a documentary about it. The company that rejected Blockbuster for $50 million produced a film about the last store the rejection left behind. The irony was not lost on anyone. Sandy Harding says she has no plans to close. The store makes enough to survive. It is the last physical reminder of the Friday night ritual that defined American family life for 25 years. The drive to the parking lot, the walk down the aisles, the argument about what to watch, the smell of popcorn and plastic cases. Blockbuster didn't die because people stopped wanting movies. They filed for bankruptcy the same year Avatar became the highest-grossing film in history. People wanted movies more than ever. Blockbuster died because the people running it looked at the future, had it flown to Dallas and sat across the table from them, and chose to laugh instead. $50 million. That was the price of everything, and they thought it was too expensive. Smash that like button and tell us in the comments, what is your strongest Blockbuster memory? The movie you rented every single time. Drop it below, and next time we go inside the company that invented the digital camera in 1975, then buried it for 20 years to protect their film business. Kodak meant, and the decision that destroyed them.